Mendel, y'all up here?
She's trying to help me get on this thing.
When we were studying Mendelian genetics, it was kind of simple actually. You had dominant and recessive and that's it. If you were big T, you were tall. If you were big T, you were tall. And if you were little t, you were short. And that's pretty simple genetics.
What if the little t is dominant?
Little t is not dominant, big T is dominant.
Is there any situation where the little t would be dominant?
No, it's you always write the recessive as lowercase. However, there are some different cases that don't quite match this simple Mendelian genetics. Like this flower right there. See how that flower's red and white?
Yes, sir.
That's pretty.
Its father was red, big R. Big R, big R. Its mother was white, little r, little r. Big R equals red, little r equals white. However, for this particular flower, red is not dominant over white. And if you're a heterozygote, big R, little r, you're not red, you're red and white. We call that co-dominance. Neither one of them is dominant. They're both dominant. And so the heterozygote has both colors.
It's called co-dominance?
Co-dominance. Here's another example. This cow has two dark genes, we'll call them R. This cow has two light genes, we call them W. If you mate this cow with that cow, you get a bunch of spotted cows.
Oh.
Dark isn't dominant, light isn't dominant, they both go together. That's co-dominance. Can you say co-dominance?
Co-dominance.
So it doesn't always work out like Mendel where one is dominant and one is recessive. Sometimes they can both be dominant. Co-dominance, yeah.
For that one up there, could they also be brown with white spots?
Could be. But this particular cow happens to always be white with brown spots.
What if you have?
It's based on species.
Yeah.
What if you mix the co-dominant with just the white cow, the light cow?
Just the light cow? Well, if it's just white, it's got two W's.
It would just
Two
be
light
with the co-dominant cow.
Oh, made that with that?
Yes.
Good question.
That would just be another RW.
So you do a WW mated with an RW. R is the dark gene, W is the light gene. So you would have WR, that's a spotted cow. WR, that's a spotted cow. WW, that's a white cow. WW, that's a white cow. That make sense? 50% spotted, 50% white. Y'all see what I'm saying? Know what I mean?
Sure.
Which I definitely feel. There's another co-dominant flower. I think that was the same one. Is that the same one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now here's another case that's sort of like co-dominance. It's called incomplete dominance. In this case, when you made it big R equals red, little r equals white. When you made the red and the white, you get big R, little r. But that's not red and white stripes, that's pink. We call that incomplete dominance. That's almost like blending theory, where the colors blend together in the heterozygote. So sometimes this could be red and white spotted in some species, but in other species it's pink. So the heterozygote is pink. So what if we took two of these pink flowers and mated them together? Would we just get pink flowers?
No, sir.
Let's do that on the board. Let's take one of these pinks, big R, little r, and mate it with another pink, big R, little r. A pink mating with a pink, You can get a big R, what color is that?
Red.
Red. You can get a big R, little r, what color is that?
Pink.
Pink. You get a big R, little r, what color is that? Pink. Or a little r, what color is that? White. Isn't that interesting?
Sir.
All right, do me a favor. You and your partners, mate that one with that one and tell me the percentages of the kids.
For 10 points.
10 points.
Okay.
Mate those two together. Are you getting that too when I point to it?
Yes,
How
sir.
good are you?
The percentage of how many are pink?
Percentage of whatever the kids are. Can you people at home watching do it? Mate those two. Figure out the percentages of the kids. Think anyone will ever watch this?
Yes. Adam.
Hi, Adam. Thank you.
Go on.
White is correct. You just face down. Peach is correct.
This is blue, but we don't have paper.
Why don't you have blue?
Imaginary blue.
Because we ran out of paper off the day.
Why not get a lot from downstairs? Orange correct. Green correct. Purple correct. Blue correct. So if you make those two, half the kids will be pink and half the kids will be white. Make sense? We call this codominance or incomplete dominance, depending on what the heterozygote looks like. If the heterozygote is pink, in this case, it's incomplete dominance. If the heterozygote is red and white, it's codominance. Yes?
And one species have both codominance and incomplete.
No, one species will be codominant and another different species will be incomplete dominant. And there's no way to predict what species will be what. Yeah. Oh, there's an example. Red mating with white makes pink. I like pink flowers. Okay. Now, let's talk about blood types. Blood types do something a little different. Does anyone here know their blood type?
No, sir.
What's your blood type, Austin?
A positive.
A positive. Anyone else?
O positive.
O positive?
I used to.
O positive?
Oh, negative.
O negative?
Oh.
Anyone else?
What's the rarest blood type?
AB negative, I think that's the rarest.
Why is it so rare?
So here's how blood types work. Blood types are what we call multiple alleles. There are more than two alleles for a trait. In other words, for height in pea plants, there was just big T and little t. Those were the only two variations of the height allele. You got some combination of those of big T's and little t's to determine your height if you're a pea plant. But for human blood type, there are three alleles. There's IA, which is the allele for type A blood. There's IB, which is the allele for type B blood. And there's little I, which is the allele for type O blood.
Jesus, is such a long.
So for blood type, there's three different alleles. And each human only gets two of those three. You get one from your dad and one from your mom. Are y'all following me here? So, there's a whole bunch of different possibilities here. If you're type A blood, you can be IA. You got one IA from your dad, one IA from your mom. That'd be type A. Or you could be IA little I. Little I is recessive. Big I is dominant.
So what does the little I blood type represent?
That is the type O.
Oh.
But A and B are dominant over O. So this is type A blood. Or, what about type B blood? Could you imagine what you could be for type B?
Yes, sir.
What?
IB, or
IB, IB?
IBI.
IB little I. Those are both type B. What about type AB? That's a very rare one, but people can be it. What do you think you would be? What would your alleles be?
IA.
IA. Skylar, you with me? And IB.
And it doesn't matter which word it is.
They usually just write A first, but it could be switched. And then what's the last possibility?
Little I.
Type O, little I. Those are all the different possibilities because we have 3 alleles instead of 2. Yes?
So is type O as rare as type AB?
No, type O is, most people are type O. About 50% of people are type O. Type O is pretty common.
What are you, Mr. Willis?
I don't know.
How much blood do you need to test your blood type?
Not a syringe. Not even that.
Not just a drop.
What determines what type of how did they figure out?
That's a good question. Here's the reason why you have this is there are 4 types of cells.
Why they're named that?
Your cell has proteins on the outside surface of the cell. Remember the cell membrane had proteins in it?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have type A proteins, you're type A. Type A proteins on the surface. They're not really shaped like the letter A, but
It looks like
I'm
a cell.
pretending. If you have type B blood, you have B proteins on the surface.
Could be. Are some of these blood types compatible with each other?
They're mostly incompatible with one another.
No.
If you have type AB blood, guess what you have?
You can't do it.
A's and B's.
It's fun.
It's hard drawing upside down letters, but I'm really good at it. And if you have type O, guess what you have?
I.
Nothing on the outside. No letters.
Is that bad?
Nope. That's just what most people are.
Does that matter?
It matters for transfusions and stuff like that.
What's transfusion?
Giving
When they
people
give
your
you
blood.
blood when you lose it.
If they give you blood, they have to make sure they give the right type. Yes.
Which isn't there one type that can give blood to any? And then
Yes.
Universal donor.
This type O is called the universal donor because it doesn't have any proteins on its surface. In every person, as well as having blood, you also have little antibodies that will attack blood cells. For instance, if you're type A blood, you have type B antibodies. So you have little things they kind of look like the letter Y. They're special proteins that will attack. If you're type A, you have B antibodies, and these things will attack type B blood. And if you're type B, you have A antibodies, and these things will attack type A blood. So if you put type A blood into a type B person, these cells will be attacked by these antibodies. If you put type B blood into a type A person, their antibodies will attack these cells.
What if you put A in?
So if you put type O blood in, there are no proteins on the surface, so that's fine. O is the universal donor.
What if AB, because it has B and A?
Yeah, that'll get attacked too,
Oh.
if that goes in.
What if
What's
the B or
the
A
antibody?
attacks the O? Like,
Do they
What
have
if what?
AB antibody?
like
or-
the A or the B attacks the O. Is that?
These things can't attack the O because they only go after A's that are on the surface of the cells. So this thing won't attack that.
But I thought like O's could only receive. Like,
No, O is the universal donor. They can give their cells to anybody. If you're type O, you have both A and B antibodies.
But like, what if you like need blood? Like, can't so you can get like.
If you need blood and you're type O, you have to get type O cells.
What about AB?
AB doesn't have any antibodies, so it's called the universal recipient.
So,
It can get any blood type.
is there any like type of blood that's been proven to be more healthy than the
No, it doesn't work that way. They're all work. It just has to do with the proteins on the surface.
What determines whether a cell, like a blood cell, is positive or negative?
That's a different gene. That's also a good question. It's a gene called RH. So if you have an RH protein on your surface, you're positive. So this person right here would be A positive.
Is that more common than negative?
I think positive is more common than negative. Here, this person's AB, and if they have the RH, they're AB positive.
So
If you don't have the RH, you're AB negative.
AB negative would be the least common.
Yes, I think AB negative.
How did they figure this out?
Chemical tests of blood. They used to give people transfusions, and often the transfusion wouldn't work, and they didn't know why. And then they figured out why.
So do you just like die if they give you the
Yeah.
blood?
Kill you. You gotta get the right type of blood.
Is there a certain amount that like you can take of the wrong blood?
A little bit, not much. You have a bad, real bad, like allergic reaction if you take too much of the wrong type. Huh?
I'm confused.
Okay.
I don't understand that whole.
You don't understand any of this?
No, I understand part of it. I just don't understand what you were talking about. How you can get an allergic reaction if you.
It has to do with the way the immune system works. If you put the wrong type of blood into, like if you're type A and you're given type B blood, your antibodies will destroy that, and it gives. It's kind of like if you have an allergy. It's not good for your system to have the wrong type of blood cells in there. So if you get a transfusion of blood and it's the wrong type, that can kill you. Yeah, just like a bad allergic reaction can kill you.
Type O also has negative and positive types.
It does. You can be O positive or O negative. Isn't that interesting? We call that multiple alleles when you have several alleles, more than two. If you have more than two alleles for something, it's multiple alleles. Let's talk about, have you ever seen a bell curve?
Yes, sir.
This is polygenic inheritance. Polygenic inheritance. Here's how polygenic inheritance works. In polygenic inheritance, there's not just one gene for the trait. For instance, in Mendel's peas, it was just one pair of alleles. Tells you if you're tall or short. But in humans, there's like 6 pairs of alleles that tell you if you're tall or short. And I will use, as an example of those, I use the letters A, B, C, D, E, and F. So in humans, every one of these, excuse me, every one of these codes for height. And the way it works is, the more uppercase letters you have, the taller you are. The more lowercase letters you have, the shorter you are. So I'm pretty short. I'm probably something like this.
So could someone go into your blood and then figure out how tall you're going to be?
Yeah, I just got to come. This isn't in your blood. This is in your genes. Have the cough. So I just have a couple uppercase letters, so I'm short. Jason Angelic. He's got all uppercase. That's why he's so tall.
Like Shaq.
Shaquille O'Neal will be the same way. So, my sister, she's 4'8". She's tiny.
Oh.
She's all lowercase.
What's that girl?
Girl's insane.
So, if my sister married Shaquille O'Neal. What kind of kids would they have?
Oh.
Well,
Not blending.
Shaquille donates one of his 2 A's to the kid. She donates one of her 2 A's to the kid. Shaquille donates one of his B's. She donates one of her B's. The kid would have a medium amount, have half uppercase, half lowercase. All their kids would be medium height. See what I'm saying? There are 6 genes for height. And what it ends up doing is, it makes it where most people are in the middle in height. You have a few real talls. No, what's wrong with me? You have a few real talls like Shaq. You have a few real shorts like my sister. Most are medium.
So what happened? We're like, I imagine Shaq's parents aren't as tall as him. So how did he get so many taller?
And stuff.
Gosh,
Different environments.
let's say a medium person married another medium person.
Oh, there's a chance of him being tall.
And those 2 are going to have kids. Kid will be down here. Couldn't this person donate their big A to the kid and this person donate their big A to the kid? And couldn't, if you got lucky, the big B and the big B go to the kid?
Yes.
And couldn't, if you got lucky, the big C and the big C go to a kid? So if this kept happening, the odds of it happening are very slim. But if the kid got lucky, they could get all uppercase letters from every pair and be really, really tall. Even though the parents were medium. Yes?
Well, you keep saying get lucky, like what's so great about being tall?
Nothing. It's better to be short. I'm just saying, the odds of getting all this aren't very good. That's what I'm saying.
Can
Yeah.
you do that on a Punnett square? Or would that be a
It would be a giant Punnett square. Because a 2-tray Punnett square is 16 boxes. A 3-tray Punnett square is 64 boxes. So this would be a giant Punnett square. So the odds of getting all of those is very, very slim. Yeah.
How would it also be like my uncle is really tall, so when they factored my height, they also had to take in his height.
I don't know why they would